I think it's very important that tradition stays, and tradition has a huge part of all this. But there's also points where you look at tradition and go, is that still fit for purpose today? Is that still the right thing to do? Are we still doing and having the most impact we could be having?
There are moments in history that don't announce themselves. No official statement, no breaking headline, no clear beginning, and yet everything changes. According to emerging reports and insider claims, something like that may be happening right now inside Buckingham Palace, not loudly, not publicly, but quietly, and with consequences that could reshape the future of the British monarchy. Because this isn't just about family tension, it's about control. And who is slowly taking it? March 18th, 2026, Windsor Castle. A state banquet is underway, one of the most formal, carefully choreographed events the monarchy can host. Diplomats, dignitaries, cameras, everything polished, everything controlled. On the surface, it looked like tradition, but behind that surface, something else was unfolding. According to accounts described in your provided material, Prince William was deeply unsettled that night. Not because of politics, not because of protocol, because of his father, King Charles III. At 77 years old, and already dealing with ongoing health challenges, Charles was reportedly showing signs of visible fatigue. The schedule was demanding, the expectations were high, and William noticed. More than noticed, he reacted, quietly at first, then firmly, then, according to sources, decisively.
Prince William and the Queen, look, they've also provided updates on the King this week during their various royal engagements. Everyone seems to be very much on the same page and doing their best, so to speak, to keep calm and carry on.
Well, it's the old adage, isn't it? And certainly straight out the late Queen's handbook of keeping calm, carrying on. And I think that they have to show a united front in this instance, because it's been quite a tumultuous few weeks. First of all, we had the Princess of Wales in hospital for an abdominal surgery. She was in hospital for a couple of weeks, taking an extended period of leave. Then the King was in hospital for a number of nights for an enlarged prostate.
A son watching too closely. There's something important to understand about this moment. This wasn't just a prince evaluating a king. This was a son watching his father struggle. And that distinction matters, because for William, this isn't just about monarchy. It's personal history repeating itself. He grew up watching Princess Diana suffer under pressure, under scrutiny, under a system that often seemed to value image over individual well-being. And now, years later, he's watching something that feels familiar. A man being pushed to continue. A system that doesn't slow down. A sense that duty comes before everything else, including health. Where the tension begins. And this is where the story takes a turn. Because William didn't just see the problem. According to insiders, he believed he knew what, or who, was contributing to it. Queen Camilla. Now, it's important to be precise here. There is no official statement confirming conflict. No public declaration of disagreement. But according to multiple reports and commentary referenced in your material, William's frustration began to focus not on the system, but on the person encouraging Charles to remain active within it. From one perspective, Camilla's role is simple. She supports the king. She encourages him to continue his duties. She reinforces the image of stability, something the monarchy depends on. But from another perspective, that same support can look very different.
The royal family really appreciated everyone's good wishes, all of the support for not only his wife, but his father as well. And like I said, I think it's very much about pulling together in this instance, not only for William, who's going to be taking on extra duties, but for Queen Camilla as well.
Two completely different worldviews. On one side, you have Camilla, a queen consort who has spent years helping Charles maintain continuity, purpose, and visibility. For her, stepping back might not feel like protection. It might feel like surrender. On the other side, you have William, a future king who sees risk, who sees exhaustion, who sees a man he believes should be slowing down, not pushing forward. And somewhere between those two perspectives, the tension builds, quietly but steadily.
And I don't think either of those two would have been able to cope. They'd been anywhere else. And that was the only good thing that happened, was that they were there.
The shift from private to personal. What makes this situation more intense is not just the disagreement, it's the history behind it. Because William and Camilla don't share a simple relationship. They share a complicated one. one shaped by events that go back decades, long before William became the heir to the throne. The story of Charles, Diana, and Camilla is not just royal history, it's personal memory. And according to various royal commentators referenced in your source material, those memories never fully disappear. They evolve, they resurface, and sometimes they influence decisions in ways that aren't immediately visible.
Now, we don't precisely yet know Charles's exact condition or the severity of that condition, but we know that for the time being, it is going to impact the ability of the royal family to carry out their role. So what's next for the family themselves, for the UK, and for the broader Commonwealth?
The ultimatum that changed the dynamic. Then came the moment that, according to reports, changed everything. An ultimatum, not public, not confirmed officially, but widely discussed in insider circles. Prince William, it is claimed, told Queen Camilla that certain associations, particularly ties connected to Prince Andrew's extended circle, needed to end. Completely. No half measures, no exceptions. From William's perspective, the reasoning is straightforward. The monarchy is under scrutiny, public trust is fragile, and any association with ongoing controversy is a risk. But from Camilla's perspective, it's not that simple, because some of those relationships go back decades, long before titles, long before scandals. And cutting them off isn't just strategic, it's personal.
Well, I suppose it's the great unknown, isn't it? I suppose for the family, as I said previously, it is about keeping calm, carrying on. No doubt the Queen is going to be taking on more duties. We've got Princess Anne. She's the old stalwart, the workhorse, if you will, the hardest working royal, always topping those polls. But Prince William is coming back to work. I mean, he's had his first couple of engagements last week. It is the kids' half term this week. They've decamped to Norfolk to be by the King's side, as well as sort of taking a bit of a break.
Who really has the authority? Here's where the situation becomes something more than a family disagreement, because technically, William is not the king. King Charles is. And yet, according to multiple accounts, William is increasingly acting in a role that looks very different from a traditional heir. He's not just preparing, he's influencing, guiding, in some cases, directing. And that creates a question that no one inside the palace is likely to answer publicly. Where does authority truly sit right now? With the king? Or with the man preparing to replace him? The monarchy under pressure. At the same time, the royal family is navigating multiple pressures. The fallout from Prince Andrew's situation, ongoing public scrutiny, questions about transparency, accountability, and relevance in a modern world. And in that environment, every decision carries more weight. Every relationship matters more. Every appearance is analyzed. William understands that, and according to insiders, that understanding is shaping his approach. A different kind of future king. What we may be seeing is not just a reaction, but a preview, a glimpse of how William intends to lead when the crown eventually passes to him. A monarchy, that is, more controlled, more selective, less tolerant of controversy, more focused on public perception, and significantly, less influenced by long-standing personal networks. That's not confirmed policy, but it is a pattern that observers are beginning to notice.
Now, it's been reported this week that Prince William has hired a former diplomat to assist him with his workload. Now, what's the significance of that sort of hire?
Well, it is an interesting appointment. I mean, it's straight out the Foreign Office, a chap called Ian Patrick. He's got a great pedigree of working for the FCO. He's a former diplomat. He's a consultant. And I think that what this really speaks of for Prince William is more of a global role. We've seen him being very statesmanlike on the world stage, whether that's visiting the Middle East, whether that's undertaking big tours. I think this is very important and very strategic from William, because we see him again on the world stage talking about the Earthshot project, this environmental prize, which is so dear to him, this big 10-year project to try and...
What this means for Camilla. For Queen Camilla, the implications are complicated. Right now, she holds a clear and defined position. She is the queen consort. She supports the king. She participates fully in royal life, but the future is less certain, because once William becomes king, the structure shifts. Authority resets. And every role, including Camilla's, is redefined. According to royal experts referenced in your material, she would likely retain her title. But influence? That's a different question, and one that would depend entirely on William's decisions. A transition already in motion. What makes this story so compelling is that the transition hasn't officially happened, and yet, in some ways, it already has. Not formally, not ceremonially, but structurally. William is taking on more responsibility, more visibility, more decision-making weight, and with each step, the balance inside the palace shifts slightly. Not dramatically, not visibly to the public, but enough that insiders are beginning to notice. The bigger picture, it would be easy to dismiss all of this as royal drama, a disagreement, a clash of personalities. But the deeper reality is more significant. This is about succession, about timing, about what happens when a monarchy built on tradition begins to adapt. Not slowly, but in real time. An adaptation is never smooth. The question no one can answer yet. So where does this go next? Does King Charles continue as he has? Does William take on even more control? Does Camilla adjust or resist? Right now, there are no clear answers. Only movement. Subtle, quiet movement inside one of the most carefully managed institutions in the world. Because sometimes power doesn't shift with the ceremony, it shifts with a conversation, a disagreement, a decision made behind closed doors. And by the time the world notices, it's already happened.